Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the blue ribbon panel and the Calexit plan, which is to use a blue ribbon panel investigation, a normal government investigation, but directed into secession. That's what makes this radical. Key part here is it only takes 5 to 7 legislators to make it happen. So let me show you what we're talking about. So one of the key parts about Calexit is that you'll have a vote for independence. By the way, anybody can call for a special election to have that vote. The governor, the legislature can call for a special election to have a vote on independence. They can just follow the Calexit initiative, which is a non-legally binding plebiscite or survey. The other thing that Calexit is trying to do is push what's called a blue ribbon panel investigation. A blue ribbon panel investigation is a normal, boring process of California government. Here's one on Clear Lake. They wanted to have a blue ribbon panel investigation on how to clear Clear Lake and make it more clean and natural and fun for people to spend time on it. So they proposed the bill. Aguilar Curry, who's a legislator in Sacramento, she was joined by a few other people we're going to have an official investigation on how would you clean up Clear Lake if you really wanted to. And just to show you, it only takes a few people to make this stuff pass. So Aguilar Curry proposed this, but it was only 7 more legislators supported her to make that happen. This isn't totally unseen. Here's another example, a totally different blue ribbon panel into older age Californians and making sure they're being taken care of. Another investigation they wanted to do with that. It was proposed by Assemblymember Brown, and it was co-sponsored by Atkins, Cooley, Levine, Waldron, and Yamada. Basically another 5 people. So when you look at this blue ribbon panel and you look at this blue ribbon panel, what you can tell is that it only takes 5 to 7 legislators to actually enact the panel. These things happen all the time. They're normally on child health care or cleaning up a lake. All we're going to do is direct the California government to look into secession or California independence, basically, on the topic. That's the only thing that really changes. And the reason we think that'll work is because of a place called Scotland. Scotland was part of England for 500 years. And then in a few years, it went from, we're talking about independence to damn near full independence with a vote. The key part of that was what they did call the Blue Ribbon Panel investigation. They called it the Common Commission, the Commission on Scottish Devolution. So the Scottish government ordered an official investigation into what it would be like if Scotland was independent. Here's a copy of that report. After that report came out, Scotland became independent within a few years. Now, the report didn't say everything was going to be perfect and it was going to be wonderful and there was no problems, but basically what the report did was make the topic legitimate to talk about. After that report came out, nobody in Scotland thought that Scotland becoming independent was an impossibility. Everybody thought it could happen. Even if they weren't for it or they didn't think it was 100%, they did see it as a possibility and everybody had to discuss it. And now there was an official document of facts to discuss this versus just coffee talk. And within a few years of this report being produced, it changed the Scottish population to the point that they were having full-blown votes for independence. This is from a video from the Scottish government explaining what it was. So if we used the normal blue ribbon panel investigation process here for Clear Lake or for aging, then we can have our own investigation into secession from the California government. When you get a government to look officially into secession, it basically explodes the consciousness of that area. They can't put the genie back in the bottle. In a sense, you've taken the idea of secession and made it super legitimate. So it can't go back to being a radical or fringe concept. That puts it almost in the trajectory of guaranteed to happen. This is why I keep saying if you have the Common Commission here, it'll only be a few years before Calexit happens. That's the big idea. Now, if you're wondering how we can pull this off, we've already listed it out in our Guide to Independence. Every single blue line there is an article to an expert on political science, economics, business, politics, news, sociology, psychology, who's talked about Calexit or independence. And so we have a variety of experts with a variety of educational backgrounds here in California who have talked about Calexit over the last decade. We can call on every single one of those people to be an expert witness in our panel. So we have the names. That's the point of this slide, to show you that there's so many educated people in California who have participated in the Calexit discussion that we have enough experts to fill out a panel. That's the big idea with the blue ribbon panel, and that's why it would achieve independence for California if we could just get it going. Again, we only need a few legislators to say, I want to have a blue ribbon investigation into Calexit. If anybody has any questions, ask them to look at the Calexit initiative. It gives them all the details. And the rest of it is history. It can take off from there. And then we could have our own Coleman Commission, and then we could have the effect of that on California. Imagine a report from the California government saying the future of California as a nation, apart from the federal government, from the official Sacramento government. That would be huge. So that's the idea. We'll have more for you soon, and we'll show you then.